سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. اللهم لا سهل إلا ما جعلته سهلا وأنت تجعل الحزن والصعب إذا ما شئت سهلا. اللهم آمين. We continue our halaqah of tafsir for the short surahs of the Quran. We started with Surah Al-Fatihah and we talked about A'udhu Billahi Minash Shaitan Rajeem and the application of that and the meaning of it in our life. And Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, its meanings and its application in our life. And we went after that to Surah Al-Fatihah with the meanings and the applications in our life. And now we will be going to Al-Mu'awwidat. Al-Mu'awwidat refers to Surah Al-Ikhlas and the two Qul. Qul a'udhu bi rabbil falaq, Qul a'udhu bi rabbil nas. And there are 5 surahs that starts with Qul in the Quran. قل أعوذ برب الفلق قل أعوذ برب الناس قل يا أيها الكافرون قل أوحي إلي Surah Al-Jinn. And we will be inshallah going in our tafsir, we will be going in the sequence of talking about the virtues, the fada'il of the surah we are introducing, and to talk about the meanings and references. And then we will talk about the application of this in our life, because the whole idea of doing this dars and make it unique than any other dars of tafsir, because you can easily go online or read, open the book and read the English translation word by word. The whole idea here is to ensure that we digest and comprehend the essence of these short surahs in our life and try to understand the application. What are the applications of these surahs in our life? How they should be making a difference and changing our life. So this is inshallah what we will be exploring in the dars today for Surah Al-Mu'awwidat, which are surahs that have great values in our life and in the Quran. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam indicated that these Al-Mu'awwidat are أفضل صور نزلت في الكتب السماوية. These are the best of these 3 surahs, or they are the best surahs that were revealed in the previous scripts from before us, At-Tawbah wal-Injil wal-Zabur. In a hadith reported by Uqba ibn Amir, قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم يا عقبة ابن عامر ألا أعلمك خير 3 سور أنزلت في التوراة والإنجيل والزبور والفرقان العظيم. قلت بلى يا رسول الله جعلني الله فداك. Look into how the Sahaba were anxious to learn and benefit from the deen of Allah Azza wa Jal. He said بلى يا رسول الله فداك أبي جعلني الله فداك. May Allah Azza wa Jal make me fida for you, protection for you. Then the Prophet ﷺ said فأقرأني قل هو الله أحد, Surah Al-Ikhlas, قل أعوذ برب الفلق قل أعوذ برب الناس. So this is referring to the value of these 3 surahs. And in another hadith, ثم قال يا عقبة لا تنساهن ولا تأتي ليلة حتى تقرأهن. The Prophet ﷺ first alerted him to the value of these 3 surahs, that they are the best that were revealed in the scripts of those who came before us, and he advised him on what he should be aware and mindful about when he with these surahs. He said to him, لا تنساهن, do not forget them, and do not let a night goes by without reading these 3 surahs at night. فما نسيتهن منذ قال لا تنساهن. And then Uqbat ibn Amir said, I did not forget them since the Prophet ﷺ advised me about it, and no night have passed without I read them before I go to sleep. And another hadith عن عبد الله بن خبيب أنه قال خرجنا في ليلة ممطرة مظلمة شديدة نطلب الرسول صلى الله عليه وسلم ليصلي بنا فأدركناه فقال أصليتم فلم أقل شيئا فقال قل فلم أقل شيئا ثم قال قل فلم أقل شيئا ثم قال قل فقلت يا رسول الله ما أقول قال قل هو الله أحد. And then Surah Al-Ikhlas والمعوذتين حين تمسي وحين تصبح 3 مرات تكفيك من كل شيء. It happened that one of the Sahaba, Abdullah ibn Khubayb, was looking for the Prophet ﷺ in a rainy night, and it's a dark rainy night, and so that the Prophet ﷺ will lead salah for them. And then he said, the Prophet ﷺ, when he saw him, he said, "Did you pray?" And the Sahabi did not respond. And this hadith, subhanallah, and have multiple meanings and lessons to learn from. One of them is how the Sahaba used to deal with the Prophet ﷺ. The adab of the Sahaba in the presence of the Prophet ﷺ was so high. They will not interact with him like they interact with each other. They used to have high respect to the Prophet ﷺ. They used to value him so much. And then the Prophet ﷺ said to him, "Qul, say." And then he did not respond. And then the Prophet ﷺ once again said to him, "Qul, say." And Uqba did not, Khabbab did not respond. He did not know what, Abdullah ibn Khubayb did not respond. He did not know out of the adab what to say to the Prophet ﷺ. And the third time the Prophet ﷺ said to him, "Qul huwa Allahu ahad." Say, "Qul huwa Allahu ahad," and the two mu'awwidat, حين تمسي وحين تصبح ثلاث مرات, in the morning and in the evening. And this is part of, by the way, Adhkar al-Sabah and al-Masa. And we need to, inshallah, in another dars, we will be going over the Adhkar al-Sabah and al-Masa and explore the treasures that we have available for us, that if we were to pay attention to and learn and apply in our life, the rewards of them are so high and the protection of them is so valuable. So the Prophet ﷺ advised him to read these 3 surahs 3 times each, in the morning and in the evening. And وعن أبي سعيد قال كان رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم يتعوذ من الجان وعين الإنسان. The Prophet ﷺ used to seek protection by Allah Azza wa Jal from the jinn and the evil eye, حتى نزلت المعوذتان, until the mu'awwidatan were revealed. And then فلما نزلتا أخذ بهما وترك ما سواهما. And then when these 2 surahs were revealed, the Prophet ﷺ used to apply them and left whatever he used to say from before. So this would give you an idea that the mu'awwidat, and inshallah we'll come to explain how they come together as a package. We will also talk about the connection between the 3 surahs, the last 3 surahs in the Quran, and with Surah Al-Fatihah. The connection between the surahs, by the way, and the sequence of the recite of the Quran has a meaning and value. And one would probably ask, قُلْ أَعُوذُ بِرَبِّ الْفَلَقِ قُلْ أَعُوذُ بِرَبِّ النَّاسِ, and then قُلْ هُوَ اللَّهُ أَحَدٌ is not mu'awwidha. There is no أَعُوذُ, قُلْ أَعُوذُ. Because these 2 surahs have قُلْ أَعُوذُ, قُلْ أَعُوذُ, but قُلْ هُوَ اللَّهُ أَحَدٌ does not have قُلْ أَعُوذُ. But rather, as قُلْ هُوَ اللَّهُ أَحَدٌ, it speaks about the entity of Allah Azza wa Jal. And the ulama said, it comes because they're all together as quote unquote one package. They're called al-mu'awwidat because of their value and their protection. You put this for me, but if we can put it off or slowly, jazakallah khair. And then, they are all together as a package called al-mu'awwidat because these, the 2 has, the qul, a'udhu, a'udhu, and then, qul huwallah came together as a package. So now, what's a'udhu? A'udhu is a word, we talked, from before about a'udhu billahi minash shaytanir rajim. And we, explored the meaning. So here the same thing. أعوذ means ألتجئ وأعتصم بالله سبحانه وتعالى. And أستعيذ and ألجأ, all those words have a similar reference to what أعوذ. I seek refuge, I seek protection, I seek assistance from Allah Azza wa Jal on whatever is whatever will be facing me, or whatever is challenging me. And when we talked last time about قُلْ هُوَ اللَّهُ أَحَدٌ, we said that this is a short surah that has high value and reference to the Tawheed of Allah Azza wa Jal. And that's why it's 1/3 of the Quran in its value. Because we know that Quran come with Tawheed and Shara'i', عقائد, and mu'amalat, as well as أحوال الناس السابقين, the references and the stories and the news of those who came before us. So 1/3 about the Tawheed of Allah Azza wa Jal, 1/3 about the Shara'i', and 1/3 about the stories of those who come before us. And Surah Al-Ikhlas is the most beautiful conclusion of the description and the reference of the Tawheed of Allah Azza wa Jal. And it came compact, and that's why, subhanAllah, it came at the end of the Quran. It came to conclude whatever has been introduced throughout the Quran about the oneness of Allah Azza wa Jal, Tawheed al-Rububiyyah wal-Uluhiyyah, al-Asma' wal-Sifat, all inclusive in one package called, one surah called Qul Huwallahu Ahad, or Surah Al-Ikhlas. And this is, after we went into further details last time to speak of what are the applications of Qul Huwallahu Ahad in our life. What does it mean that Allah is one? He begets not, nor He was begotten, and there is none co-equal unto Him. It gives you an idea, a description to who Allah Azza wa Jal is. Is it, Allah is similar to the gods that other people believe in, of being, not so powerful, or being weak, that in need for a spouse, or need for a child, or need for, or wrestles with shaitan. All these things have, Surah Al-Ikhlas came to purify the description of Allah and give Him the image as Samad, as a legacy, as Allah Azza wa Jal, who He is, the creator, the sustainer of this universe. After that introduction with Surah Al-Ikhlas, Qul Huwallahu Ahad, here comes to us a beautiful 2 surahs to help us be able to apply this understanding in our life. Here comes what we will be, inshallah, going to explain. قُلْ أَعُوذُ بِرَبِّ النَّاسِ مَلِكِ النَّاسِ إِلَهِ النَّاسِ مِنْ شَرِّ الْوَسْوَاسِ الْخَنَّاسِ الَّذِي يُوَسْوِسُ فِي صُدُورِ النَّاسِ مِنَ الْجِنَّةِ النَّاسِ. After I knew who Allah Azza wa Jal, after I have built this legacy for Him in my mind and my heart, now I'm coming to apply this practically in my life. And this is why the sequence of these surahs came the way that Allah Azza wa Jal have revealed it in the Quran. So this is to give us an understanding that Allah is the ultimate control and sustainer of this universe. And if you need anything, and if you're in need for something, then the way to deal with all the challenges in your life is to go back to Allah Azza wa Jal, al-Fard al-Ahad al-Samad. And that's why, by the way, the Prophet ﷺ heard someone saying, Ya Allahumma ya Ahad, Ya Fardu, Ya Samad, Ya Man lam yalid, wa lam yulad, wa lam yakul laka kufuwan ahad. The Prophet ﷺ indicated that you have called Allah by His greatest name. Ask, you will be given. And this short surah has the greatest name of Allah Azza wa Jal, Ismillah al-A'zam. And that's why in your dua from now on, one of the most beautiful dua ways to start your dua after praising Allah Azza wa Jal and sending the salawat of the Prophet ﷺ is to call upon Allah Azza wa Jal by His greatest name by saying, Ya Ahad, Ya Fardu, Ya Samad, Ya Man lam yalid, wa lam yulad, wa lam yakul laka kufuwan ahad. And then engage in your dua and supplicate to Allah Azza wa Jal, asking for what you need. So when we say, قُلْ أَعُوذُ بِرَبِّ الْفَلَقِ, say, Ya Allah, I seek refuge by You because I am seeking Your assistance. I am seeking refuge by You. I'm turning to You. I am surrendering to You. I am asking Your empowerment, Ya Rabbi. طيب, what's al-falaq? Falaq literally means splitting. And here Allah Azza wa Jal says, in Faliq al-Isbah in Surah Al-An'am, to refer to the splending or the introduction of the dawn. Dawn, breaks through from the night and introduces the day. So this is Falaq al-Isbah, bringing the dawn or bringing the new day after the darkness of the night. And Allah Azza wa Jal, there's a beautiful catch in why al-Falaq refers to dawn. The dawn refers to the resurrection of us from in the day of judgment, and the night refers to our the being dead or sleep. because sleeping is the reference to death. الله يتوفى الأنفس حين موتها والتي لم تمت في منامها. So when you are, you're sleeping, you're dead. And then, when we die when we leave this dunya, we will be once again resurrected in the day of judgment. So there's a reference into, al-falaq, referring to the asbah, to the dawn, because both in this dunya, we're still alive, we will be resurrecting from our sleep into the day. And the same is going to be said about, our real death in the akhirah. When we are resurrected once again from our graves, we will be coming to the akhirah. So there is a beautiful catch into the meaning of, al-falaq, referring to, to the, as-subh, dawn. And then there is also beautiful catch when Allah Azza wa Jal, when in the surah, it says, قُلْ أَعُوذُ بِرَبِّ الْفَلَقِ. Say, I seek refuge, and say here, referring to Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam as our prophet, and to the Muslim ummah in general. I seek refuge, قُلْ أَعُوذُ بِرَبِّ الْفَلَقِ. Rabb al-Falaq. Here, there is a beautiful catch that we need also to be, referring to. Rabb. What does Rabb mean? We talked about this last time, in more details and intensively. Here, Allah is just saying, teaching us to say that I seek refuge by the Lord of Al-Falaq. The Lord of the Falaq is the one who is Murabbi, the controller, the one who is, in control for everything. Once again, we, the darkness of the night and the breakthrough of the day in the morning. The darkness of the night is referring to not only the darkness of the absence of the sun, but it also refers to the dhulumat. Dhulumat, hardships, difficulties, oppressions, are all references to dhulumat. This is what normally is referred to in Arabic. Allah ولي الذين آمنوا يخرجهم من الظلمات إلى النور والذين كفروا أولياءهم الطاغوت يخرجونهم من النور إلى الظلمات. And here comes, a beautiful meaning that Allah is the Lord of the isbah, of the morning, of the dawn. As Allah is the Lord of the dawn, He is also the Lord of difficulties and challenges in your life. So therefore, if you happen to be going through difficulty or a challenge in your life, remember that Allah, your Rabb, and the Rabb of other things that He has created is one, and you are turning to Him and seeking His assistance and support in whatever difficulties and challenging you're encountering in your life. And this is why, by the way, the Prophet ﷺ referred us to read قُلْ هُوَ اللَّهُ أَحَدٍ in the morning and in the evening, and قُلْ أَعُوذُ بِرَبِّ الْفَلَقِ in the morning, so we can start our day. And remember that no matter how, and all of us will go through difficulties in our life. Yani, subhanallah, whether on a personal level or on a family level, or whether it's on an ummah level. Many people are in hospitals being sick, or they have a child who's sick. And we have tonight here, two brothers who approached me and said that they have a brother who's going for a transplant surgery, and the kidney will be donated to him by his own son. So the whole family here is on alert, and in a position where they feel so vulnerable. So we say, by Ya Rabbi Ya Ahad, Ya Fard Ya Samad, Ya Man Lam Yalid Walam Yulad Walam Yakun Laka Kufuwan Ahad, Ya Faliq al-Isbah, Ya Rabb al-Isbah, Ishfihim Shifa'an La Yughadiru Saqama. Because no matter how difficult or bleak the darkness is, there is always, after difficulties and after darkness, comes the night, the day of the night, of the day that will bring the goodness and the ease afterward. So Allah Azza wa Jal is the Lord of the darkness, as well as He is the Lord of the day of the nur and the goodness, which we are always hoping and seeking to Allah Azza wa Jal's help to get. And this is why again, Allah Azza wa Jal, the Prophet ﷺ have asked us to read it in the morning, and when we read it and reflect and contemplate on this meaning, all those feelings of pain, all those feelings of agony, the challenges, and subhanAllah, when you go through a difficulty, shaitan has a big, goal on you to make you feel that you're worthless, you're helpless. Depression is something that a combination of our nafs, human psychology, and the influence of shaitan. The main intention of shaitan is to make you feel helpless, powerless. And the best way to deal with that is to always remember the hope from Allah Azza wa Jal that comes in ayat like this to remind you about the nur after the difficulties. And one of the beautiful tafsir that I came across from about Al-Falaq is that Al-Falaq refers to جميع الموجودات, to all the creations of Allah Azza wa Jal. And this is a reference coming from Ibn Abbas and رضي الله عنهما, said لفظ Al-Falaq refers to Al-Khalq, and in this Al-Falaq refer to everything you see in this universe. The springs that are splitted from the mountains and gushing water is falaq. Falaq al-sakhr, and then comes out the water. And amtar min as-sahab. The falaq is what would bring the rain from the clouds, and the plants from the earth, and the children from the wombs of their mothers. And from there you will see that the al-falaq is a beautiful word referring to bringing something out of something that is difficult or has no life. So this is what again brings us to the concept of being reminded that Allah Azza wa Jal, we're seeking refuge by Allah, the Lord of all the difficulties, the Lord of everything, and the one who introduces the ease and the nur after the darkness. And this is again, a beautiful reference that I come across in one of the tafsir. An-nur ba'd al-dhulma, the light after the darkness. As-si'a ba'd al-dhiq, the easiness after the tightness. Al-fatq ba'd al-radq, the expansion after the tightness. And al-yusr ba'd al-usr, the ease after the difficulty. Wal-faraj ba'd al-shidda, and the comfort after the difficulties. Now, what are the things we are seeking refuge by Allah Azza wa Jalla? We say, قُلْ أَعُوذُ بِرَبِّ الْفَلَقِ, I seek refuge by the Lord of the Falaq. From what? What are we seeking refuge of Allah Azza wa Jalla from? We're seeking refuge by Allah from something. What are these things that we're seeking refuge from? مِنْ شَرِّ مَا خَلَقَ, from the creation, all His creations. Allah Azza wa Jalla have created everything. And everything has the potential of good and bad. And that's why when we say قُلْ أَعُوذُ بِرَبِّ الْفَلَقِ مِنْ شَرِّ مَا خَلَقَ, Ya Rabbi, you are my Lord. My forehead is in your hand, and the forehead of everything you created is also in your hand. So I am turning to you, Ya Rab, and seeking refuge by you from the evil temptations of other creations you have created. Whether these creations, jinn, or shayateen, satans, or siba', wild animals, or hawam, insects and zawahif, or from the fire, or from the dhunub, from the sins that I have committed in my life, or from the hawa, from the whims of my own nafs, or from my own nafs al-zalima, or from the evil actions that I have committed in my life. And you are also seeking refuge by Allah from your own nafs of that has desires and have the tendency to go of doing wrong things in your life. So you are seeking refuge, Allah Azza wa Jalla, min sharri ma khalaq wa min sharri ghasiqin idha waqab. So what's ghasiq? Any suggestions? Huh? Yes, Safir. Ghasiq refers to the darkness of the night. Darkness of the night. Ghasiq is the night. And this is why in one of the ahadith the Prophet ﷺ, or whatever the night includes, the Prophet ﷺ once was with Aisha radiallahu anha, and he looked in the sky where and saw the moon. He said to her, seek refuge by Allah from the ghasiq. This is part of the darkness of the darkness of the night. So we seek refuge by Allah Azza wa Jal from the evils of the night. Why? What does this have to do? You know, there are beautiful references, into this. وَمِن شَرِّ غَاسِقٍ إِذَا وَقَبْ. Ghasiq means the layl, al-dhalamihi, and the darkness of the night. Waqab, means entered or due. And in this, as I said again, the Prophet ﷺ said to Aisha, Ya Aisha, استعيدي بالله من شر هذا فإن هذا الغاسق إذا وقب. When he was referring, pointing to the moon. And one of the things, as a result of living in the new technology or in the era of the time we're living in, we're missing so much. We don't seem to be able to appreciate the ni'am of Allah Azza wa Jal on us. When we need food, we open the fridge and the food is right there. We're short in supplies. We go to the grocery store, and it's only a matter of a drive to the grocery store, and then the fridge is once again full. And when it gets dark at night, simply all the lights in the streets are turned on, and we do have electricity in our homes. So we do not have. We do not value or we don't sense or feel the different ayat of Allah Azza wa Jalla in this universe. Back at the time, in all time, and especially the time of Prophet ﷺ, the darkness of the night, or when the night comes in, it's so vulnerable time. People used to fear the night. Why? Because you can't see. You're unable to sense what's happening around you, and this is the time when thieves are active. Wild animals are active, and the insects and the lizards and all those are potentially harmful to human beings are active, and that's why in the evenings we're encouraged, as Prophet ﷺ asked us, to keep the children at home and not to let them play outside, because with the introduction of the evening, with the covering of the night, there are so many potentials that could be harmful to you, and this is why people in all times were so vulnerable. You will have the same feeling if you go in an outdoor camp, in a real camp, not those cottage camps we go to, and they're also facilitated with all the all facilities we see in electricity and fridges and all the details. If you happen to go camping, in parks or in provincial parks where there's nothing, and you will experience the real feeling of being in the night and being in the day, you will get to feel what it means to be vulnerable at night. You feel like, I'm so vulnerable. I can't see what is around me, and you need the protection. And this is why we say, قُلْ أَعُوذُ بِرَبِّ النَّاسِ مَلِكِ النَّاسِ إِلَهِ النَّاسِ من شر الوسواس قل أعوذ برب الفلق من شر ما خلق ومن شر غاسق إذا وقب. And one of the tafsir that I come across also so beautiful is الغاسق هو كل شر يعتري الإنسان والشر يوصف بالظلمة والسواد ووقوبه هجومه. غاسق refers to everything, every evil attempt or a threat could be on a human being. And normally, in general, as we said, that evil or difficulties or challenges are described by the darkness. And وَوُقُوبُهُ هُجُومُهُ. Waqab means attacking you. So, what are we also seeking refuge by Allah Azza from? وَمِن شَرِّ النَّفَّاثَاتِ فِي الْعُقَدِ. وَمِن شَرِّ غَاسِقٍ إِذَا وَقَبَ وَمِن شَرِّ النَّفَّاثَاتِ فِي الْعُقَدِ. So, what's النَّفَّاثَاتِ فِي الْعُقَدِ? Yes, Sheikh. Blowing in the nuts, right? And this is also another legitimate threat that, again, we are so vulnerable towards. We're unable to protect ourselves from because we don't see it. The magicians or the black magicians, they do their magic by tying the nuts and blowing into them. And this is, by the way, something that is real. And nafath is different than spitting. Spitting is with spitting out liquids, but nafath is blowing the air with little something little comes from the mouth. And this is has evil temptations and good temptations, because we know that black magic does exist. We're not denying that. And those who denies it, denying so many facts from the Quran. And we know the Prophet ﷺ himself was affected by black magic, Labid ibn Asim, when he did magic to him, and then Jibreel alayhi salam came to protect the Prophet ﷺ, and he gave him the ruqya and destroyed the amal, the magic that was done to him. So this is a fact. And also at the same time, we know that the Prophet ﷺ, when he used to read the mu'awwidat on sick person, he used also to do the nafath, go like, without spitting to something from your mouth, but you're blowing the air with good power of your iman onto the person who is in need for it. And that's why the Prophet ﷺ used to put his finger on his tongue and put it on the ground and say, ريق أحدكم من تربة ربكم تشفي مريضكم. Referring to that how the saliva of a human with the turba, the earth will be inshallah a protection and a cure to the human. Bismillah turbati ardina biriqi ba'dina yushfa saqimina bi'idni rabbina. This is the dua the Prophet used to say. You go like this and put on the sand, and then goes on the place where you are hurt with, and say Bismillah turbati ardina, by the name of Allah, the sand of our land, biriqi ba'dina, with the saliva of some of us, preferably the righteous ones, yushfa saqimuna, our sick will be healing, bi'idni rabbina, by the will of Allah Azza wa Jal. And the Prophet ﷺ also taught us when we go to bed, and this is what Aisha reported to us, that the Prophet ﷺ, when he goes to bed, would be reading the three quls, qul huwallahu, qul a'udhu birabbil falaq, qul a'udhu birabbin nas, and blowing in his hands and wiping all over his body. And he used to do that before he goes to bed. Again, you are unable to feel, subhanallah, the meaning of these verses and the protection you gain unless, and this is why I encourage people, if they have the ability to do so with their families and their children, go outside, go camping for one weekend if possible. Or if you're unable to, try this at home without electricity. Say that there is no electricity for the weekend. Let's try to live the meanings that these surahs delivers to us. And subhanallah, to many of us who have gone camping, you feel it. Like you're in the middle of the jungle, or not in the jungle, the wilderness. There are things around you. You know for sure that insects, lizards, snakes, that could be potential harm for you. And you need to get sleep. You need to get the sleep. You can't stay awake all night. And once you are unconscious, once you fall into sleep, you don't know what's happening around you. So you need protection. And subhanallah, nothing brings to your heart and mind the protection like when you go Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, qul Allahu ahad, qul a'udhu birabbil falaq, qul a'udhu birabbin nas. And you go and you wipe all over your body, you feel the peace and you sleep in peace. Alhamdulillah. And this has been practiced by Muslims all over through the history of Islam. Alhamdulillah. And it's been alhamdulillah, beautiful things to do because you're under the protection of Allah Azza wa Jalla. So this is again, قل أعوذ برب الناس قل أعوذ برب الفلق من شر ما خلق ومن شر غاسق إذا وقب ومن شر النفاثات في العقد ومن شر حاسد إذا حسد. So what's hasid? Jealous. And this is something that we need to be aware from. ومن شر حاسد إذا حسد. Hasad is to wish the destruction or the removal of what others have out of jealousy for no reason, or you wish that they remain in the poor condition they are in, and not to wish them to change their status for the best. And hasad is a very destructive disease that hurts the person himself before it hurts the others. Because as they say in Arabic language, if the fire, when the fire is burning, if it does not find anything to burn it, it would burn itself. So eventually the hasad hurts himself first before he hurts others around him. Because the feelings of jealousy and the feelings of zealous are so destructive that will affect you and will hurt you before they hurt others around you. And again, there are two types of hasad, by the way, that we are aware of. Hasad that is evil, like wishing that others they would not have what or good that Allah has given to them. And there is a good hasad, which is called sometimes in Arabic al-ghibta. La hasada illa fitnatayn. There is no hasad except in two things. Someone that Allah Azza wa Jal had given him the wealth, and he's using that wealth in day and night in the cause of Allah Azza wa Jal, and someone has the wisdom and he uses it to judge and teach it to others around him. So there are good hasad and there are bad hasad. لا حسد إلا في اثنتين رجل أتاه الله مالا وسلطه على هلكته في الحق ورجل أتاه الله الحكمة فهو يقضي بها بين الناس ويعلمها بين الناس ويعلمها الناس. So these two good hasad. And there is something that good to mention. Hasad comes from the love of the oneself, حب الذات, and his love to his own self. He would push him to see that others are not worthy of the ni'am that Allah Azza wa Jalla had given to them. والحسد شر تلازمه ثلاثة شرور. There are three evil things associated normally with hasad. Al-ajab, arrogance, pride, feeling good, being full of yourself. واحتقار, and being ignoring others and undermining them. والكبر, pride, to be pride. And this is what Iblis ta'atullahi alayhi had, and was because of it, worthy of being, kicked from the rahmah of Allah Azza wa Jal. أنا خير منه, I am better than him. أرأيتك هذا الذي كرمت علي. He did not think, he did not see Adam being worthy to that the malaika will make sujood for him and he will do sujood for him. أرأيتك هذا الذي كرمت علي. You made him, you honored him over me. Why should I be making sujood to him, or why the malaika should be making sujood to him? So these are things that we need, to be, aware of. And Allah Azza wa Jalla said, وَمِن شَرِّ حَاسِدٍ إِذَا حَسَدٍ. What does this refer to us? وَمِن شَرِّ حَاسِدٍ إِذَا حَسَدٍ. If he were to cause the hasad, the evil, effect. So that means we all potentially have these feelings. I could be a person seeing others enjoying privileges and ni'am that Allah has given to them. I don't have them. But there is a difference between me controlling my own desires and controlling my own nafs and trying to say to like mashallah la quwwata illa billah, and wish Allah will bless whatever he has and ask Allah to give me something similar or better than what he has. لولا إذ دخلت الجنة قلت ما شاء الله لا قوة إلا بالله إن ترني أنا أقل منك مالا وولدا فعسى ربي أن يؤتيني خيرا من جنتك ويرسل علي حسبانا من السماء فتصبح صعيدا زلقا. The hasad will not be taking place except when the person intends to do it. And this is why إذا hasad. Allah Azza wa Jalla added that's إذا hasad. So this would give us an idea that we should be more humble. ولا تمدن عينيك إلى ما متعنا به أزواجا منهم زهرة الحياة الدنيا. And that's why Allah Azza wa Jalla said to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, to teach us that ولا تمدن عينيك إلى ما متعنا به أزواجا منهم زهرة الحياة الدنيا. Do not look at what Allah Azza wa Jalla had given to others from the beauty of this dunya. لنفتنهم فيه, because it is, and the provision of Allah Azza wa Jalla is better for you and more sustaining for you in the long range. So not looking on what other people have in their hand will make you appreciate what you have in your hand from Allah Azza wa Jal, and will also prevent us from being hasid or have an evil effect on others around us. Now there's a catch that I come across when I was doing the reference, the gathering the information about the tafsir. So what is the connection between al-ghasiq wal-nafth wal-hasad? What's the connection between ghasiq, referring to the night, and al-nafth and al-hasad? There's a connection between them because they're all referred in one surah, which is قُلْ أَعُوذُ بِرَبِّ الْفَلَقِ مِنْ شَرِّ مَا خَلَقَ مِنْ شَرِّ غَاسِقٍ إِذَا وَقَبَ وَمِنْ شَرِّ النَّفَّاثَاتِ فِي الْعُقَدِ وَمِنْ شَرِّ حَاسِدٍ إِذَا حَسَدَ. The reference between all of these in الغاسق ظلام تخفى فيه الشرور. The ghasiq is the darkness where the evil and the threats are hidden in it. And an-nath, is also a hidden evil attempt through the magic that harms others. And al-hasad also, the same thing, is something hidden you do not see, but it affects you, and it is haq because it happened during the Prophet ﷺ's time, when one of the Sahabi was taking a bath and another Sahabi saw him, and he was saying, he did not say MashaAllah, he said, what a beautiful skin he has. That Sahabi fell into the ground sick, and he was about to die, and the Prophet ﷺ was informed about it, and then he said to him, did you kill, you almost killed your own brother? So he asked him, and يغتسل له, to do a wudu, and the wudu water that, that Sahabi, used, was taken to the Sahabi who was affected, and he was bathed with it, and Allah Azza recovered him from the effect of the hasad. And if you were to look also to the sequence of all these three things, the ghasiq, the darkness of the night, and the evil of the magic, and the evil of the hasad, you will find they are coming in the sequence of most the evil and more evil and most evil. The most destructive of all the three is the hasad, the evil, the zealous. And this is something to keep in mind of how destructive hasad is and on the person who's exercising that and on those around you. And something just mention quickly. I once was listening to a lecture for one of the mashayikh, and it happened that a young lady had her wedding, and her mom, who was so happy for her because she was her only girl in the family, and she was overexcited, and everybody was happy for this girl. As the wedding party was concluded, the young lady all of a sudden became blind. She could not see. So immediately the mother said, no one goes outside from the attendees, the ladies attendees of course, except you offer the ghusl for me. Everybody do their wudu and gather the water so that we will you give it to the bride to show, to bathe with, to the effect, or to take the effect of the evil eye. They did all of them, and nothing have taken place. So years have passed, and maybe 2-3 years afterwards, and in one morning, the bride who's become a woman afterwards, woke up in the morning able to see. She was overexcited. She could not believe herself. She's able to see again. She rushed to the phone to call her mother to inform her that I am able to see again. And when she called her mom's home, her brother picked up the phone and said, I was about to call you to inform you that your mom has passed away. So the sheikh was saying that the person who forgot to do the ghusl was the mom. So be careful. You could be also affecting your own self or your own children. Be mindful of that. Always say, MashaAllah, la quwwata illa billah. And if you feel, and this is by the way, if you feel that you have affected someone from your brothers or a person that of your evil eye without being aware of that, then by all means offer to him, and there's nothing with that if someone come to you and say, could you please give me the water so I could do the bathing and for the protection. And it is actually good to do it in a group, because if there's a group of people, say, oh, let's all together do the ghusl for this, for this person, so that he will get the protection, inshallah.
So what do you do the water? Just hand wash?
Yeah, like as you normally do wudu, and you gather the water, and the water then will be used after that to bathe the person who was affected.
But not for the leg.
Where's that? Not for legs. That's right. Not for the nose. Just as you're doing the wudu.
Wash the hand.
Washing the hands and the face and yeah. Now, the other thing we're seeking refuge by Allah Azza wa Jal is in these surahs is الشياطين الإنس والجن. This is in the following surah and say, قل أعوذ برب الناس. The Lord of mankind. Malikin nas, the Lord of mankind. Ilahin nas, the ilah of all mankind. Min sharri al-waswas al-khannas, from the evil temptations, whisperations of al-waswas al-khannas. Alladhi yuwaswisu fi sudur al-nas, the one who whispers in the hearts of mankind, from al-jinnati wal-nas, from both jinn and human being. Now here comes another, beautiful things to keep in mind. Again, Allah Azza wa Jalla is here saying, قُلْ أَعُوذُ بِرَبِّ النَّاسِ, reminding us again that He is the Rabb of all mankind. He's your Rabb and the Rabb of all the creations He have created. قُلْ أَعُوذُ بِرَبِّ النَّاسِ مَلِكِ النَّاسِ. He is also, the Lord and the King of all the people, the King of all the kings, because there might be kings in this dunya, but Allah is reminding us that He is the King of all the mankind, including the kings of this dunya. So, قُلْ أَعُوذُ بِرَبِّ النَّاسِ مَلِكِ النَّاسِ إِلَهِ النَّاسِ. He is the only ilah of all, the creations of Allah Azza wa Jalla. And if you hear, look into the, Allah Azza wa Jalla repeated An-Nas, An-Nas, An-Nas. Malik An-Nas, Ilah An-Nas, Min Sharri Waswas Al-Khannas. From the evil whisperations of, waswas. What's the waswas? Whispers. Because the Prophet ﷺ indicated that shaitan sits on the heart of the child of Adam, and in the ghafla he would whisper for them, and then what we remember he pulls off. And this is a continuous habit for shaitan. Waswas, whispers, khannas, goes back again. And then, this is ongoing process. الَّذِي يُوَسْوِسُ فِي صُدُورِ النَّاسِ. Why not in the hearts of an-nas? Allah did not say in the hearts of qulub al-nas, but said in the sudur al-nas. Because shaitan, it runs from Ibn Adam, majra dami fil uruq, runs in your bloodstream. So if you remember Allah Azza wa Jal, He would pull off and would not be able to affect you. If you forget once again, then shaitan will be able to do whisperations for you. And here, again, an important fact that min al-jinnati wan-nas, that the influence of whisperations is not inclusive only to jinn, because we know that وَمَا مِنْكُمْ إِلَّا لَهُ قَرِينٌ وَقَيَّضْنَ لَهُمْ قُرَنَاءَ مِنَ الْجِنِّ. We know that every person has a qareen from the jinn, and we know that the shaitan has an effect of whisperations in our heart and our minds. But also Allah Azza wa Jalla is here, trying to alert us that there is also a much more effective, whisperations that comes from a human. The way to deal with the effect of shaitan or the jinn, whisperations, is simply by remembering Allah Azza wa Jalla. But now, when it comes to dealing with the human, then it's a very difficult task. Nowadays, we do have not only mass media, there is social media, and there are different outlets of mass media on different by satellites, by internet, by different other means, and you will see how effective these tools of media in brainwashing people and persuade them in the wrong way. In the Muslim world right now, there are the moral values that we used to see among Muslims are all vanished, almost disappeared. Where is that coming from? It's from the effect of the whisperations of mankind, and those rulings, regimes that we have in our country, in Muslim countries, are able to maintain their power and abilities all because of the influence of these medias, which eventually, the evil temptations of the students of shaitan. Khalas, shaitan has done his job, and now they're doing more job into persuading and brainwashing people. Now here comes the important thing that we need to inshallah mention about these surahs. Shaitan comes to human to, in different ways. First, to spoil their iman and aqidah. They come to people to, make them in doubt about their aqidah and iman. And if they were, if the aqidah was concrete and the iman was strong, then they would go to another level. They would, try to, push them to do the ma'asi, the sins, because the major thing is aqidah. If your aqidah is corrupted, khalas, you're not Muslim. But if you are Muslim and your aqidah is strong, then shaitan will be trying to persuade you and trying to push you, or not to push you, to lower it for you. فَدَلَّاهُمَا بِغُرُورٍ. As Allah mentioned in the Quran, دَلَّاهُمَا بِغُرُورٍ. He lowered for them, and beautified for them the ma'asiyah to eat from that tree. And if shaitan was not able to push or to lower for you, to do the ma'asi, then ثَبَّتَهُ عَنِ الطَّاعَاتِ. Then will discourage you from doing the ta'at, the worshipping to Allah Azza wa Jal, the good deeds to Allah Azza wa Jal. If was not able to drift you from being prompt in your ibadah, then he will come to you from al-riya fi ta'at, to show off. See, there's like a sequence, and these are all subhanallah diseases that will face the mu'min in their life, in their path to Allah Azza wa Jal. ليحبطها فإن سلم من ذلك أدخل عليه العجب في نفسه. If he was not able to make you show off, then he will make you from those who are proud of themselves and saying that, oh, I am abid to Allah Azza wa Jal, or I am close to Allah, unlike those or unlike this, trying to compare others around you. ومن ذلك أنه يوقد في القلب نار الحسد والحقد والغضب. And once you start feeling proud of yourself, then the burning fire of jealous and jealous from others and angry will be fueling in your heart as a result of those passions of shaitan. Again, the best way to deal with that is to seek refuge by Allah. That's why I say أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. And this is why we have these beautiful surahs to not only read but to absorb and understand and comprehend in our life. So remembrance of Allah Azza wa Jal is the way to deal with these all problems, and الإكثار من الاستعاذة بالله ومن أنفع الأشياء في ذلك قراءة هذه السور. To read the mu'awwidat always in the morning and in the evening, because they are protection for you from the temptations of shaitan, and to always be against your own whims and desires and nafs, because nafs is your worst enemy, not shaitan. Your worst enemy is your nafs, not the shaitan. And so we're trying all the time to go against your nafs. Here, one of the beautiful things I would like to conclude with Allah said, قُلْ أَعُوذُ بِرَبِّ النَّاسِ, and then مَلِكِ النَّاسِ, and then إِلَهِ النَّاسِ. Allah starts with introducing the طور التربية والإعداد وهو من ظاهر التربية. Allah Azza wa Jal wants us to be mindful and aware that He is our Murabbi, and He is also at the same time He's the King, and He has the ultimate power and control in our life, and the Ilahi Nas, He is the creator and the sustainer of this universe. Now let's inshallah conclude this by connecting the Surah Al-Fatihah with these through three surahs. If you would look into when we read the Fatiha, we are asking Allah Azza wa Jal, اهدنا الصراط المستقيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين. So we start الحمد لله رب العالمين, and then and مالك يوم الدين and then we refer to him as Allah Azza wa Jal. And the same connection is in the last surah of the Quran, قُلْ أَعُوذُ بِرَبِّ النَّاسِ مَلِكِ النَّاسِ إِلَهِ النَّاسِ. So the Surah Al-Fatihah reminds us about the rububiyyah and the uluhiyyah and tawheed sifat asma wa sifat. And this is also now introduced once again to us in Surah Al-Nas at the end of the Quran. So when you see, look into this, there's a beautiful connection between the first surah of the Quran and the last surah of the Quran. Because when you conclude the Quran, you say قُلْ أَعُوذُ بِرَبِّ النَّاسِ مَلِكِ النَّاسِ إِلَهِ النَّاسِ مِنْ شَرِّ الْوَسْوَاسِ الْخَنَّاسِ. You go again in a circle, say أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين. So there is a continuation and connection between Surah Al-Fatihah and Surah An-Nas. So with this, inshallah, I hope that we are able to get the conclusion that these two beautiful short surahs, or three surahs in the Quran, are surahs that we all memorize by default, but we need to allow the application of these two surahs to take effect in our life. When we read Surah قُلْ هُوَ اللَّهُ أَحَدٌ, we need to allow this surah to help us be aware and mindful who's Allah Azza wa Jal, the power of Allah, the abilities of Allah Azza wa Jal. And then after that, when we say قُلْ أَعُوذُ بِرَبِّ الْفَلَقِ مِنْ شَرِّ مَا خَلَقَ وَمِنْ شَرِّ غَاسِقٍ إِذَا وَقَبَ وَمِنْ شَرِّ النَّفَّاثَاتِ فِي الْعُقَدِ وَمِنْ شَرِّ حَاسِدٍ إِذَا حَسَدَ. In traditional societies, these three things, the darkness of the night, the evil effect of the black magic, and the hasad, were serious threats to people in their life, and they are up to nowadays. But as I said again, we might not be aware of them because of the lifestyle we're living in, because of the introduction of technology we have nowadays. There are many people come, to imams especially, and say, "Can you give ruqya to my child, or give ruqya to me, or give me a ruqya?" And I say, well, why would an imam be giving a ruqya to you when you already know that in the book of Allah Azza wa Jal? In our deen, we do not have the kahanut. We don't have religious people. This definition does not exist in our deen. This deen is applicable to the Bedouin living in the most primitive societies on earth, and is also applicable by the most sophisticated societies on earth with the most advanced people in education with PhDs or postgraduate degrees. This is a deen that come to be available for everyone. And when you read these surahs and comprehend them and live through them, and when you say قُلْ أَعُوذُ بِرَبِّ الْفَلَقِ, remember how Allah Azza wa Jalla is able to bring the morning dawn after the darkness of the night. So no matter how difficult my life is, no matter how challenging the circumstances I'm going through right now, Allah Azza wa Jal is able to change them, as He always brings the day after the night. And when you قُلْ أَعُوذُ بِرَبِّ الْفَلَقِ مِنْ شَرِّ مَا خَلَقَ, from all the evil temptations of any human being or anything that Allah created. Nowadays the problem of the Muslim Ummah is we become so weak, we become paralyzed, we feel our hands are tied, we're so depressed, because we have forgotten that to seek to be empowered by the will of Allah Azza wa Jal. Look into the situations of the Muslim Ummah right now. Look into what's happening lately in the Muslims in Kashmir. We are, Kashmir is next to one of the most, one of powerful nations, Muslim nations in the globe. And we do have also other Muslim countries who are also influential with their wealth, but we're not seeing any effect or any movement into support and aid these people. As we're speaking right now, and along with what's happening in Kashmir, there are also Muslims being segregated in Idlib, part of Syria, and no one even talks about them. Even the Arab media, Al Jazeera, which is supposed to most of the time promote and bring up the issues, they rarely mention what is happening, and they bring just a few highlights on headlines about what's happening there. They are in the middle of the Muslim world. Where are the Muslim Ummah? we don't see any movement or any changes happening. This is because we have lacked the trust and we fail to understand that it's Allah who can protect, and it's by the will of Allah things can befall unto us. And that's why إِذَا حَسَبْ, and that's why Allah Azza wa Jal says in the Quran, وَمَا هُمْ بِضَارِّينَ بِهِ مِنْ أَحَدٍ إِلَّا بِإِذْنِ اللَّهِ. The black magic exists, we do not deny it. But at the same time, we are also a strong believer that this will not be taking effect unless Allah wills it. You bring a seed and put it in the sand or in the ground. Would the seed grow? It would not grow. To make that seed grow, you need to fertilize the land, you need to irrigate the land, look after it until it grows. The same thing is to be said about the impact and the effect of the black magic, as well as the effect and the impact of hasad, zealous, the evil eye. They will not be able to affect any human being unless there is a potential of harm in that human being. If we are not from those who read the mu'awwidat in the morning and in the evening, if we do not say أعوذ بكلمات الله التامات من شر ما خلق, أعوذ بكلمات الله التامة من كل شيطان وهامة ومن كل عين لامة, if we do not say بسم الله الذي لا يضر مع اسمه شيء في الأرض ولا في السماء وهو السميع العليم, if we do not say when we leave from home بسم الله توكلت على الله ولا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم, then where are we going to get the protection from? Then we do have the potential and the ability. If you do not take the flu shot before the winter, then your body has the ability more than the person who has the flu shot vaccination, because the flu shot vaccination gives you the protection, or not help your immune system to build a resistance to the real influence of the influenza virus. Now it might not have 100%, it would have probably 50%, 85%, 35%. It would have certain effect. So the same is to be said about how you interact with the Quran. You interact with the Quran with real belief and understanding and believing that every single word you read, you feel it, you absorb it, then eventually your protection will be higher, and Allah Azza wa Jal will be giving the protection to you and to your children and your family. I hope with this, inshallah, we are able to understand the value of these three surahs, the Mu'awwidat, as we have talked about the Fatiha, and I hope inshallah we will be able to from now on apply it in our life, knowing that if we not only read them or memorize them by heart, but we need to absorb them and feel them, allow every single word to make a difference and a change in your life. جزاكم الله خيرا. سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون والسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.